Hello and welcome. Of course, I am your host, Casimir Basilius, as always, Imperial Lord and so forth. And today is, of course, Worldbuilding Wednesday. So, that's what we're going to do. We're going to build some worlds. Well, we're likely going to ramble, but we're going to try and work on this encounter map and other such things involving building worlds. So, that's the plan. And we'll see how it goes. So I suppose without further ado, let's begin. Let's see here. So last time we worked a bit on an encounter map. I think that was not on Worldbuilding Wednesday though. I think that was on the end of Solo Saturday, which is on Friday. So it would be Sunday, wouldn't it? Galactic scheduling. I'm sure you can see that we have a calendar here, and it does not necessarily equate to your days. Yeah. So yes, our days are different than yours. Not lengthwise per se. Just well, 4 weeks in every month, 7 months in every. Not well, no, 7 days in every month. No, no, words are hard. Oh gosh, my brain. No. 7 days in every week, 4 weeks in every month for a total of 28 days in every month. Yes. So let us get to it. Here we go. So, yes, our mission was basically to raid this outpost. It is suspected of housing supplies, resources, anything really basically to support the enemy faction for the most part. So, um, basically we are going to work on it. we're going to make some encounter charts and, sorry, I'm getting a lot of information currently from conscripts giving me information about things, updates about galactic proceedings. My apologies. So, let's get back on track. Hopefully with no further distractions. Yes, very good. So, where were we? Oh yes, encounter charts. So, while normally, when GMing a game, I will make the encounters and all that. But as this is for the solo GM bot, in which we are the player, we can't really make the encounter, if you know what I mean. We'd know everything that would happen. And that is not ideal for, well, being a player. We want surprise. And in order to get that surprise, we are going to need charts. Charts that will basically give us a variety of options that aren't guaranteed. So that's what we're going to work on. Charts. We're also going to ramble and other such. We might write a few descriptions. Not sure. We'll figure it all out. But one thing I know we need is charts. So let's open up the datasheet. Scroll all the way to the bottom. There we go. Now I'm gonna have to grab a few things to get this to all work out. This will take 1 minute as I look for the charts that I was talking about. They're not pre-made, but the template for the charts are. So that's what we're looking for. Here we are. I think it should be around here. Perfect. Copy that. Go over to here. And go like so. We're going to place a second one, just in case. There we go. Okay, so these charts will basically be used to make the event table, and that's what we're going to do. First, we need to zoom in a bit. Here we are. Hopefully, the tab key, nope. Unfortunate, we're just gonna have to hit tab every single time. Okay. So, we are making basically an encounter chart for this location. We can also make character rough sheets and so forth. We can make a lot of things, but importantly, we're going to need an encounter chart. What are some, we're actually going to need probably a few encounter charts. First of all, what are some things we might find here? You know, of course, this is all optional if you want me to be technical. We can actively ask the bot as we go during a session and interpret the results given to us and get details rolled on various charts automatically. I say automatically, I mean like using interpretation and charts and other such things. That would give us more randomness, admittedly, more information applied to us at the moment. These charts that we're working on making are pre-generated, if you will. We know the results. We just don't know what result will come up. For instance, guns. What will we find at the place? Guns, explosives, rebel forces, supplies. What else? Hmm. The great thing about the way this chart's laid out, just as a side note, is the book that this chart's from splits it up into several. I say the chart's from the base chart has it set up so basically everything is divisible, not divisible. What's the word I'm looking for? You can use it in parts. For instance, as you can see, we have 1 to 2, also known as base, 1d4 or 3 to 4, 1d6 or 5 to 6, 1d8 or 7 to 8, and 1d10 or 9 through 10. What's useful about this is it has, I believe, 25 total options. Of course, you can have multiple charts, and you can set up basically this same thing, but 4 charts. So you can have charts of charts. But even in the subdivision, so you can roll to see which one of these subcharts you go on. For instance, roll a d10, and any number you roll relates to a chart. And then you roll on that subchart, which gives you up to 25 results. But you could roll, if you only have 2 charts, 1d4, which would get you on either this chart or the second chart. And even in those subcharts, 1 to 2, 3 to 4. So if you're wondering how you'd roll 1 to 2, roll a d6 or a d10 and divide. 1 through 3 is 1, 4 through 6 is 2. Same with the d10, except, 1 through 5 is 1, 6 through 10 is 2. But for anything larger than 1 to 2, basically, roll a d4, 1, 2, or 3 or 4. Roll a d6, can get you any of these 3 results. Rolling a d8 can get you to here. Rolling a d10 gets you the whole chart, etc., etc. It's split in such a way that you can roll any sub-number. So we don't even need to theoretically finish a chart for the chart to be finished. And by finish a chart, I mean have it fully filled out, which is what I love about the way these charts work. Because you can have basically infinite results. In a sense of, yes, it goes to 25, but you don't need to fill it out. You can have 2 results, 3 results, 4 results, all the way anywhere up to the 25 results. Because if you're wondering, like, let's say you only have 2 on the final chart, you'd roll a d10, and if you get to the final chart, let's say you roll 9 or 10, you get to the final chart, but the final chart only has 2 objects on it, you would then roll a d4 to get which one of the 2 results on the final chart that you have, basically making it so you can roll any sub number. But also, if you're wondering, doesn't that limit you to 25 results? Like, in the end, can't you just have a maximum of 25 results? No. I mean, yes, on this chart, yes. But, I mean, of course, this chart could be expanded to a D12 because D12s exist, which would get you to 30 results. But you don't even need to do that. because you can have charts of these charts, as I mentioned earlier. So you could have a list type with a sublist of 1 to 2 not being guns, but 1 to 2 being list A, 3 to 4 being list B, etc., etc., etc. Basically, giving you an infinite option of subcategorized lists should you wish. Or you can have lists of just sets of subcategorized things like weapon types or encounters, etc., etc., etc. Basically giving you infinite options. Anyway, enough rambling about that. Um, that's another thing I need to work on. Random generators, really. Charts, lists, and random generators, along with various other things, just for basically generating a wide variety of more things. Like we have a creature generator that can generate any creature, but it could use a bit more work, a bit more variety, etc., etc. Like it's based heavily on the Traveler one to a degree. So basically, like it'll randomly generate place in the ecosystem of the species. Is it a scavenger? Is it a hunter? Is it a herd creature? Etc., etc. That you can then place into a role, but even sub that, is it a flying animal? Is it an aquatic animal? Etc., etc. And then even between there, what type of creature is it? Is it insectoid? Is it like a bird? Is it like a lizard? Is it a mammal type creature, etc.? And then more subcharts from there to generate truly alien creatures, and so on and so forth. But it needs work for more alien-like creatures. But that's that. Back to working on random charts. Um, yes. Here we go. Supplies, rebel forces, explosive guns. Is there anything else we might find there that they're stockpiling? Vehicles? Perhaps? No, no, they wouldn't stockpile those here. All right, clear. It is possible that there is no such thing here. Could be just basically a false mission. Could show up and they could be clean. So we have our first chart. Is there more we wish to add? Well, yes and no. I mean, there's limited possibility, but anything could theoretically happen. Like, we could also roll randomly during the match. So, we'll figure all that out. Let's see. Hmm. What other chart would we add? I think that's a clear chart. Like, I don't think we need more for that type of thing. Ooh, type of forces there. We'll keep it on the same chart. We'll just roll it as a separate list, basically. Let's see. I mean, this we could just roll with a dice results during the session, really. But we'll make a chart. A few heavily armed individuals. A few lightly armed individuals. many lightly armed individuals, many, well, would there be many unarmed? Not much of a reason. A few unarmed individuals. And last option, empty. So basically, there'll either be a few heavily armed individuals, a few lightly armed individuals, many lightly armed individuals, a few unarmed individuals, or the place is empty and there's nobody there. It's more likely we'll run into people the way we've set up this chart. Of course, additionally, this is a side tangent, but theoretically we could use multiple charts and we could repeat results. Like there's nothing saying we couldn't repeat results in a sense of on the second chart, we could have empty 4 times and then an additional one of a few lightly armed individuals and then an additional a few lightly armed individuals, basically weighting the chart. Weighting the chart, so basically, more likely results are more likely to occur. That is something we could do. And, like, it's more likely that it's empty. I mean, it's likely not more likely that it's empty. I'd give that a 50-50. Honestly. Well, I'd give it a bit less than a 50-50. So I'd have a bunch of other results and then like 20% chance worth of results of empty, but more likely that there are people there. So the other results there'd be a lot of these results, then a few empties equal, just a bit lower. You get my point. Basically weighting the chart so statistically speaking, certain results that are more likely have more instances, thus, well, doing so properly. But that's we're not going to do that currently. I think this part of the list is good enough for what we'll find there. Because we are looking for an encounter. So we'll just leave the odds as such. More likely that we'll find some set of forces there. Then type of forces we're going to find are equally weighed, technically. Unlikely we'll find nobody. Basically as such. We're not really going to weigh this chart this time. However, there's also the ability to weigh the chart randomly with the, you know how I said that the way it can be generated is we can generate it as we go? That can also be weighted by asking yes/no questions or adding modifiers that add weight to those things. Like if we were to ask, is the place empty? And then we could roll our 2d10 yes/no with a modifier of -2 for it being empty, thus giving us more chance of it not being empty, as we've done in the past for certain things. But those are all the types, not all the types, but those are some of the ways we can add some random flair into the campaign to make it so we don't know what's going to happen. In this case, we don't entirely know what's going to happen. We're going to ask yes/no questions more than likely, possibly. But using these charts, we have some idea of what to expect. We can also use these charts in being linked to events. That's another thing I need to work on. The GM bot, I want a little more interconnectivity between the charts. I know a few ideas of how to make certain things connect and roll, and I mean everything always needs work. Anyway, things like that. Well, now I'm curious. What does the GM bot say about chance? Random events. Here we are. I'm curious as to whether it can actually send us to those charts. I know the encounter thing can send us to those charts if we set it up properly. The location encounter file can send us to those charts if we set it up. Let's see. What about this one though? Event tables. Here we are. Hmm. I don't think it sends us to charts, which is something I really want to add, the ability for it to send us to charts. There's an NPC section, which would send us to an NPC chart. Adventure charts. Other table, add a plot. Adventure stuff. Hmm. Yeah, nothing that sends us to a chart, at least in that one. So yeah, that could use some work, adding a way for that to do so. Anyway, that's not something for now. That would take a lot of thinking and math, and it would be boring. So we'll not work on that. What shall we work on? That's the real question, isn't it? Hmm. Well, we have some charts prepared. Let's minimize that. Is there anything map-wise that we need? There might be vehicles there, but that's going to be a yes-no question when we arrive. Description of the place we could do now, but we could also generate it when we arrive. Um, let's see. Let's show the grid. There we are. Okay, so the scale is good enough. Hmm. I suppose. I suppose we should. Let's work on some descriptions of things. Why not? A lot of things here of the system. I quite enjoy working on systems and writing descriptions. I mean, because I'm not sure exactly what to work on for this. So yeah, let's write some descriptions of system stuff. Luckily, we have a section right here. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. What worlds do we have prepared? For this, we're going to have to zoom out a little bit. Okay, there are 20 objects. We have object 1 through 4, 5, subject 6, another asteroid field. 7, well, it's moon at least, and object 7. Object 9, object 10, object 16 and 17. Hmm. Yeah, we could always add more. More information. That is maybe items, stat blocks. I'd rather, I mean, unless we're going to go to one of these worlds or it comes up in something, we have enough detail to work with currently. We'll make a few items. That's what we'll do. For that, we're going all the way back to the bottom. Here we are. Oop. Okay. What is something I need to stat? I mean, there's a lot of things I need to stat, but what's something we're missing severely? As I quickly open the items book and look for missing vehicles. We have all the base classes of vehicles, but more custom vehicles is always nice. Yeah, well. Do we have a heavy cargo tractor trailer truck? Hover vehicles? Helicopters and planes? Train? Could have sworn I placed a construction vehicle. I know that that's some things were missing. So I'm quickly scrolling to see whether I did, in fact, stat one or not. Because I'm rather sure we did. Well, we can always search. We can always start another one too. Okay. Enter that there. Military construction vehicle. Doing a quick scroll. Seeing whether we have non-military construction vehicle. No, we don't. We only have the armored variety. Okay. So we're just going to edit the stat block then. Make a non-military variant. There we go. This is a not universal one, unlike the military one. So, construction vehicle, we'll add a little subnote in a minute. It's not a tank, so we're looking at like 50 HP, I believe. Let me cross-reference a chart real fast. Here we are, doing a little digging. Yeah, 50 works. Armor 0, shield 0, AC 6. Is that right? I believe it's AC. Yep, 6 works. DR should be far less. 10, it is sturdy, far sturdier than your average vehicle. And what is the speed? Here is where I usually do research. So let's do just a little bit of research. As we look up the speed, 22 also miles per hour. So we'll say 30 because this is space. And this is not a terrible one. 30 miles per hour. And that equates to 265. We'll round down. No, we'll round up. 270. $135, 270. And I'm curious as to what that actual speed equates to. So we do a little division. Nope, that's still 30 miles per hour. It's just 30.6.681 repeating. Well, 6818181, etc., etc. But it's still 30 miles per hour when rounded, so 30 miles per hour. Gargantuan, Shoal, crew 1, passengers 0. Cargo 1 ton. Init and menu remain the same. It does not have a 12.7mm heavy machine gun on it. What is its fuel capacity? That's the next question. One moment while I figure that out. It's not supposed to be the best, but it shouldn't be terrible. $25.10, sure. No alls here, just $25.10. It is not amphibious. It does get a bonus on craft. Skill checks. 2, dig. Specifically, this one gets engineering skill checks to dig, not on everything. This is an excavator. Construction. Excavator vehicle. Because is all construction to dig times by half. It counts as 10 workers. Engineering skill when digging. MAC. Squares wide. Excavator is 4 squares long, that's 20 feet by 10. Oh. It has a excavator arm with multiple attachments. It does not have a crane, nor a loader bucket. No, it does have a dozer blade. It does not have a crane, though. Blade and excavator arm with multiple attachments. It does not have a tip trailer. And I'm pretty sure it does not have a winch. Multiple. Optional attachments. There we are. No, it doesn't have a loader bucket. It just simply has an excavator arm. There we go. It is a simple construction vehicle meant to do one thing. Extra info. Treads. Excavator bucket. Any other additional notes to make about this thing? I suppose, yes, there is. One moment while I do a little bit of checking. Here we are. Time to do some math. As I quickly open this chart here. $2.5 tons. This one is able to lift 2.5 tons. Lift 2.5 tons. The excavator grants plus to all craft engineering skill checks to dig and decrease the construction times to dig by half. Count as 10 workers. Go when digging. The excavator is 4 squares long and 2 squares wide. An excavator arm with optional attachment. We'll make a note. Listed engineering construction bonuses are for we'll make that on a separate line. Listed engineering construction bonuses are for excavator arm scoop, not additional attachments. Additional attachments provide their own bonuses as per attachment. There we go. Perfect. As such, we have a very basic stat block with some custom information for an excavator. Now we can add a bunch of lore information should we wish. Lore, generic, excavators are produced by many organizations, nations, and corporations. Generally, they are civilian equipment that requires a license to buy and operate. Let's see. Some organizations that produce excavators, some notable organizations. Are Omnicorp, of course, because there's nothing they don't make. Crazily enough, I'm pretty sure Point Combat Templates probably doesn't make them. So, let me quickly pop open my action catalog. Let's look at the major corporations. Keltoran Products probably makes some. Although I'm pretty sure Keltoran Products doesn't specialize. Let's double check. Hmm. Okay, who else? Vespe Orbital Works. No, they would. Oh, they also make space variants for the most part. I mean, the space variants are different, of course. Of course, zero gravity excavating is far harder than gravity excavating because, everything's a bit more complicated without gravity. Targets Limited doesn't. Products for Homes probably does, as does the United Energy Conglomerate. Any other megacorps that I'm making? Council Manufacturing Industries and Singularity Manufacturing. I think Singularity Manufacturing. No, they mostly make starships. But the Council Manufacturing Industries does. And Ezrak Trading Products probably also makes. Oh, well, that's not ideal. We hit bad buttons. Hmm. Let's make sure we didn't break anything. Omnicorp, Ezrak Trading Products, Voltoran Products, Vespe Orbital Works, Products for Homes, UEC, Council Manufacturing Industries. Along with many others. Basically, there's no local, there's so many. This is not an uncommon machine. This is being made everywhere by everyone, you know? So, well, hmm. Anything else of note we want to say? We could elaborate on each of the sub-factions, what exactly they're building, things like that, like the variants, basically. Ooh, we could do attachments. Variants. Various attachments for the excavator arm. Light. Lifting. Crane. Increases lift weight to what? 3.5 tons. Increases lift weight 3.5 tons. What's the word for this thing? I know what I'm thinking of, but I don't know what they're called. Okay, we will do a little searching. Here we are. That's what we're looking for. Well, this isn't the one this isn't the one we're looking for, but this is an attachment. Tree cutter. Used to cut down trees. Logging. What else? There's many, many, many. Attachments optional. Ooh, saw. Note. Circular or large chain. Why not? Seems ridiculous, but you know, sure. It is an entire galaxy. I'm sure somebody would try. Let's. A dedicated tool used to grab and cut down trees can move to grab trees. Used for cutting. Ooh, I'm not sure this. Oh, this probably actually exists. All this talk of cutting makes me think of a water-based cutter. You know, like one of those ones that you use to like. I forget what they're called. But they sometimes use them to cut like rock and such. Water pressure cutter. What else? What else? Ooh, percussion hammer, percussion hammer, claw. What other attachments can I throw in there? Hmm. Pile driver. That's the one I was thinking of earlier that I couldn't think of the word for. Hmm. Auger or hydraulic drill. And or hydraulic drill. What else? Forestry mulcher. What else? Snow blower. And more. There we go. Bunch of listed attachments. Let's see. I'm pretty sure that is. Well, we don't need to list every single possible thing, so I'm pretty sure that's good enough. Okay. Hmm. There's many more vehicles we could make that are similar. It would be working a lot of similar things, really, for like all sorts of different construction vehicles, cranes, etc., 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 that can be started and made. But for now, I suppose it's a bit early, but I think we'll call it there for now. Next time is, of course, Solo Sunday, which is on Friday. Like I said, our calendar's 2 days ahead of yours. Anyway, as always, I have been your host, Casimir Basilius, and I hope that you, yes, you, have a wonderful day. And thank you all for stopping by.